In the wake of Bitcoin surpassing 30,000 US dollars, CoinDesk Indices is launching the Bitcoin Trend Indicator, known as BTI for short. Joining us now is CoinDesk Indices Managing Director Andy Baehr. CoinDesk Indices has just launched a BTI, Bitcoin Trend Indicator. Could you just explain what it is?
Yeah, sure. Good morning, Amitaj. Good morning, Emily. The Bitcoin Trend Indicator, or BTI for short, it conveys the presence, direction, and strength of the current price trend in Bitcoin. So how does that work? Each day at 4 o'clock New York time, CoinDesk Indices is going to calculate and publish the BTI, and you can see that at CoindeskMarkets.com. So it has one of 5 values. The idea was to keep it very simple so that everybody can use it and appreciate it. So let's think of those 5 values as colors. You know, you walk into a national park and you see a fire danger sign that has that goes all the way from red to green with an arrow pointing to the right level. So the BTI is a little bit like that. A dark red indicates a significant downtrend. A dark green indicates a significant uptrend, and there are 3 middle intermediate levels. So again, you get to see the presence, direction, and strength of the trend. So the BTI makes it simple for folks following the Bitcoin market to know if, where, and in what strength the price of Bitcoin has momentum. So why should we care about trend in the first place? So trend is a concept that's widely discussed in the academic literature and widely used in the investment industry. So simply put, there's a tendency for markets to react to news or new information slowly and over time. If you have something that's kind of worth 100 and news comes out or conditions change, which should make it worth 200, it's not going to happen overnight. It might happen in a week or in a month or in a quarter or even in a year. So the idea about trend following or momentum strategies is we care a little bit less about the news or the catalyst, and we just care more about the price movement and its momentum so that we can get on board. So in New York City, it's a beautiful warm day. It's April. It's almost sailing season. It's almost time to go sailing in the Hudson. When you go sailing in the Hudson, the one thing you check every time is which way the current's going. You don't want to sail against the current because it's just going to be a miserable time. You want to go out at a time when the current is behind you. And so the BTI tries to get investors' boats pointing in the right direction.
So, Andy, Bitcoin just passed $30,000. How do you analyze those currents or those trends? What's your take on this current moment?
From a trend point of view, the price of 30,000 was not really much of a surprise. The indicator has been indicating a strong uptrend for several weeks now. In fact, for most of the year, the indicator has basically caught a lot of this rally because we think that it is kind of a seasonal rally. You know, one expression that we've all, unfortunately, for better or worse, become very familiar with is crypto winter, which implies the existence of other crypto seasons, which implies that there are these long-term periods where Bitcoin prices are going to swell and swoon with different information entering the market. From a macro point of view, as my colleague Todd Groth has pointed out in recent comments, in 2022, the major impact was the velocity and sort of strength with which central bank policy changed the rate world. And that had many impacts. One of the impacts was that there was this new source of yield that hadn't been there before, a new source of real yield, in fact, which weighed on alternative stores of value. So in 2023, with people feeling, especially with the banking crisis, that Fed policy doesn't look as it's going to be as aggressive, money is flowing back into those alternative stores of value. And so from a macro point of view, we feel like the Bitcoin price is supported. From a trend point of view, the indicator has been solid green for a while now.
All right. I want to go back to BTI just for a second. Who is the Bitcoin Trend Indicator for? Where can I see it? And, you know, you talked about the Hudson and sailing there. How often are you going to update BTI? How often are you going to know about the winds?
Sure. So I wish I could sail every day at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but we will certainly be updating the BTI at 4 o'clock, 7 days a week. You can see it at CoindeskMarkets.com/BTI. You can see a historical study. We've back tested it 5 years. So you can see how it's helped people navigate the crypto seasons going back. So it's a moving average crossover strategy. It only uses information from the XBX, from the CoinDesk Bitcoin Price Index. And it's a signal that we've researched and tested for several months now, and we feel that we feel confident that it really helps indicate when trends are in place, which direction and which strength. So everyone can use the BTI. I've become accustomed during our testing period to checking it out every day at 4 p.m. I find that it either affirms my view of how price has been moving and where it's likely to move in the future. Sometimes it challenges my view about saying, the trend is stronger than you think, or maybe the trend changed and you didn't really detect that in how you were feeling about the market. A lot of this is pulling emotion out of price interpretation and putting in kind of rigor, quantitative formulas and fact. And we think that for asset managers and advisors who want to use the BTI to help create products that would allocate between Bitcoin and cash, this can help them really put in a sturdy, consistent, well-researched tool to help their investors and their clients navigate the crypto seasons better.
Oh, thanks so much for that, Andy. The graph that you talked about, the colors, the red, the green, and all of that, the orange, it took me back to when I used to be a reporter covering pollution. And, the red used to stand for really high level pollution levels in India, which is, as you know, 20 out of 30 cities, the world's most polluted cities are in India. But anyway, thanks so much for that, Andy. That was CoinDesk Indices Managing Director, Andy Baehr. We'll, of course, have him back to talk more about BTI as and when we're ready. And we will see you at Consensus in Austin, Texas, of course. That is going to be something in about 2 weeks.